Hello and welcome to the Perth Gaming Crew show. My name is Jonathan, and with me, as always, is my co-host Johnny. Johnny, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm excellent, John. It's a great sunny morning, and what a great time to be boarding the PAX Australia hype train. Obvious what our episode is going to be all about today, isn't it, John?
We are super pumped about PAX. PAX is coming up just less than a month to go. We are hyping up the train. People of Perth and Beyond, you've probably seen on Insta. We're building up our little PAX hype train, but we're really excited. So today is all about our expectations around PAX. We're going to talk a bit about what PAX is. But I think, Johnny, you've got a couple of things you wanted to say first up in regard to like our attendance at PAX. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So, under 2 weeks till we're going to be there amongst it all in Melbourne, which is so exciting. And right before we get in to the nuts and bolts of it all, I just wanted to make a big shout out to the Rocket Comms team and the PAX AUS team for supporting Perth Gaming Crew to come back to PAX this year. They supported us last year with a content creator badge, which was amazing. And this year supporting us both with media badges. So we just can't wait. We're both going to be there on the ground for the full 3 days, and we can't wait to just cover it all for the people of Perth and beyond. So we're really grateful for that support. Makes it that little bit easier for us to get to Melbourne from far-flung places around Australia, especially for John, making it all the way from Perth. Canberra for me to Melbourne is not such a stretch, but it's still something. So we're so chuffed that we're supported again. That's just awesome. So very, very excited at this point.
Yeah, and look, this is our second year attending PAX. We're very grateful that we could attend for the second time, and the trip is well worth it for the people of Perth and beyond. They expect no less from us, so we're there for you attending as well. So for anyone who's not aware about PAX, it's coming up. It's a three-day event that we're running from the 10th to the 12th of October. Now, you can get individual badges for each day, although the Saturday badges have sold out. There are Friday and Sunday badges available, and I would highly recommend, whether you live in Melbourne or you live regionally in Victoria, or even you're considering just a fly-in for a day or two, it is absolutely worth attending because there's no event like it in Australia at all. Probably the best way to describe PAX is that it really is the embodiment of gaming culture coming together on a global scale in Australia. So what you'll see is all these really large publishers and developers attending, showcasing their latest games. And we've got some exciting ones that we'll dive into shortly. A whole range of content creators like us. There are people who do voiceovers and voice work for the big games. There are people who are cosplayers there. If you're into tabletop gaming or card games like Magic the Gathering, there's something there for you too. And probably one of the biggest things about PAX is that it's a great place to highlight Australia's Aussie indie scene and local gaming scene as well. So that there is just so much to see at PAX that there really is something for everyone here. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the things that we're most excited about, and then we're going to wrap up with some of our top tips now that we are PAX veterans, Johnny. Like, we've walked the floor, we've put in, I don't know how many Ks we put in.
I like to
Get
think
your
of it
walking
as,
legs ready, people.
I feel it's our sophomore year at PAX, so second year at PAX, so it's we're in the sweet spot for sure.
A little bit wiser and a little bit more informed and a little bit knowing which Giant Expo Hall is where and where all the good spots to eat are at. So looking forward to everyone joining us on today's episode. Let's dive. Go ahead.
Just before you do, John, I'll just sort of say, like, and it's it really is something for everyone, and it's for lack of a better term, PAX is very much a broad church. Like, it's not strictly, we're kind of underselling it a bit to say it's not strictly just a video game convention. It's a lot broader than that. There's the gaming is what definitely draws us there for sure, but there's a lot of other sort of pop culture kind of adjacent things happening. Like, a really good example is I noticed in the expo hall. The anime streaming service Crunchyroll will have a presence, for example. That's not strictly gaming, so that's like just there's so much going on. The tabletop gaming, the card gaming is such a big element of it. So really is something for everyone, and it's so super inclusive. They do make everyone feel really welcome. I feel like they do that really, really well. So yeah, so not to slow your roll too much, John, but yeah, I just thought I'd add that little note because I know sometimes maybe people misunderstand that, might think it's just a video gaming kind of convention, but it's much, much more than that.
Not at all, Johnny. And bang on. And in addition to all of those things, some people are just into like cosplay because they watch anime or they watch shows like the Star Wars shows on Disney Plus or Ghostbusters, and they want a place to belong or showcase, that hobby. And I mean, what we were kind of blown away by last time, Johnny, I would say, is just the amount of people who dressed up in cosplay. It really is a great place for everyone. It's more adults, like I'd say there's adults and teenagers there, and there's some families there, but it's really kind of that welcoming, friendly place where you can just rock up. And I would say that I've got friends who are gamers or into different hobbies or a little bit shy or not comfortable, but we felt very comfortable at this kind of convention. It really does feel like something for everyone is there. So do check it out if you can, even if you get a day pass, or you try and get in for the Friday or Sunday, even for a few hours, you would find something that you enjoy. And for those, we will get to this. There is also a retro console section as well for those of us who are 80s children who just grew up
Chef's
and need
kiss.
to hark back to those days.
We'll get to that.
Wonderful area. We love it. We'd go just for that, wouldn't we, Johnny?
I would.
Absolutely. So yeah, PAX is huge, and it's just, again, it's a great opportunity to meet so many people, but even to meet with and see people who are publishers, for example, and we'll come to that too. There's something for everyone at PAX. What I do want to bring up first, though, Johnny, is probably the biggest thing that we're most excited for at PAX, and that has to be the exhibition show floor. So this year, you and I were just absolutely thrilled because someone was missing at the last PAX event, and I was just a little bit sad. Although, to be honest, last year was just so fun-filled. You can't do everything that you want to do, but this year. And look, it is fair to say that while the PAX does cover all these things, one of the biggest things to highlight is the AAA gaming scene, the global publishers, the latest and greatest software. And this year, for those of you unaware, PAX has already announced some of the big publishers like Nintendo, Xbox, Ubisoft, Bethesda. They'll be there. Particularly exciting for us around the Nintendo Switch 2. Johnny, how are you feeling about the expo hall this year?
I can't wait to be back, like on the expo hall floor. And the news that dropped probably about a week ago now that Nintendo will have a booth, they'll have a presence on the floor there. And I think it's confirmed that there'll be opportunities to get hands-on with Switch 2, including Switch 2 titles that haven't released yet.
Yes, confirmed.
And most of all, I am itching to get hands-on with Metroid Prime 4 to try those mouse controls. Because I believe that will be available at PAX in a couple of weeks. So that is... I can't stress how excited I am for that. Like, I've been waiting to get my hands on this game. I know the game will release obviously in early December, so that's great. But in the meantime, I just get a little bit of a taste, and I couldn't be happier, John. That notion has got me very, very excited.
Yeah, no, we've talked a lot about Metroid Prime on this podcast. I'm sure we're gonna talk a little bit more very soon. It's for me, PAX and is like those E3 experiences that I grew up with, where I'd learn about the new latest and greatest games that are coming up or just released, and this was the chance to go hands-on and experience it. And I think this is a very exciting year for Nintendo because they've just released the Switch 2. Johnny, you've got one. I don't have one yet. I've not played one. I think there'll be a lot of people in the same boat as me who have a Switch or have another console who are going to have their very first chance to get hands on with a Switch too. And then for people like both of us, not just that, but play those long anticipated games like Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, where we've seen trailers, we've had the long wait. We've seen people in Europe and the US, Gamescom and the PAX events run over in Boston, Philadelphia, get their hands on. And now it's our turn. We're finally going to get our turn to go, all right, this is it. Like this is what the game looks and feels like, and it's real, and it's, I don't know, for me it's that quintessential part of being a gamer or achieving that dream of going, I'm finally going to one of these big expo events and I'm getting that hands-on exciting experience. So Nintendo being present, people at Perth and Beyond, is obviously a massive one for us. And look, as we've said before, we are a very Nintendo heavy podcast because that is our console of choice, in addition to like the Xbox, PC, and a history with other gaming consoles. Johnny, I think the other exciting thing about Nintendo's booth is we are going to get hands-on with games like Age of Imprisonment and also Kirby Air Riders.
True.
So these are games that you and I are less inclined to buy, but still excited for. How are you feeling about just accessing those experiences? Like, do you think you'll give them a go? Do you think you'll
100%.
pass them up, or what do you think?
Nah,
like,
no
do you
chance.
Think that...
I'm gonna be jumping on after like Metroid. I gotta get a taste of Metroid first, but after that, definitely I wanna have a muck around with the Kirby Air Riders. And I like the Zelda Dynasty Warriors style games. I played a lot of Age of Calamity, so so I'll definitely try and get a bit of time with Age of Imprisonment. They're fun. They're hack and slash and chaos across the screen. I think those games are going to look really good on Switch 2 and overcome some of the issues that the Switch 1 had with running those kind of games. They just looked, there's just a little bit of crust on the frame rates, which is less than ideal. Definitely somewhat excited for those opportunities as well, even though they're not as high on my they're definitely not they're not on my must purchase list by any stretch of the imagination, but a chance to try them out, and enjoy the fruits of Sakurai-san's labor with Kirby Air Riders it's going to happen. It's going to happen, John.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Like, they're not games that I would buy, but I think that's the beauty of an experience like PAX, where it's sort of like a smorgasbord. You can go, okay, these are the latest games coming up. I wouldn't normally, because if these games don't get demos, you're not going to play them, or unless you know someone who's played it and lent it to you, which people just don't do much these days. Let's not kid ourselves, even though Nintendo Switch 2 has game share. You might not, but I think the brilliance of these kind of experiences, they give people that memorable moment of connection where they're there with their friends. You might pick up and play and go, actually, I really enjoy this game. This is not what I expected. I am keen to learn more. I might actually purchase it. For me personally, I haven't even played Mario Kart World yet, and I know you've got that, so I'm kind of envious. I'm Luigi Green with envy, and I'm just like, oh, okay. And I'm betting my bottom dollar that the line for that one is pretty long. So yeah, really, really excited to see just Nintendo attending. And Johnny, I mean, any guesses for what their booth might look like this year? Because they often do themed booths, or do you think it will just be the standard red with the Nintendo logo? Because we have seen in the past with other big conventions, they tend to theme their booth around something. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Mario Kart World, as that's their biggest game. But
I suspect because of the wide appeal of Mario Kart, they probably will do. There'll be some sort of Mario Kart related gimmick. Look, that's a good thing to sort of speculate on for the next week or two. Yeah,
just build that hype a little bit more.
That's right. Yeah, have to have a deeper think about that. Yeah, but I'd say that Mario Kart, maybe a bit of DK Bonanza because that's a recent release, and
true.
I think they do want that game to do well. It's exciting times, but it's not all about Nintendo. I know I'm very Nintendo focused, so I know, but we're not just excited about Nintendo. And John, I think you are very excited about hopefully across the road, not too far, so you don't have to do too many miles, but the Xbox booth that's been confirmed. You must be very, very excited, John.
100%. So Xbox, I've got an Xbox, and look, I've got mixed feelings about Xbox as a brand over the years and what they're doing. However, a huge highlight for me this year, particularly in the lead up to what we are calling Ninjitsu November, where we are doing episodes on Mortal Kombat and our favorite ninja games. People of Perth, get excited. Xbox has created the dream for me personally and potentially for other people in the world, but really for me personally. Earlier this year, they announced Ninja Gaiden 4 as part of like a Ninja Gaiden revival package where they announced Ragebound, which I know, Johnny, you're going to play soon, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which I've already completed. But Xbox have announced that they're going to be at PAX and they are going to be having Ninja Gaiden 4 on the show floor. I think that comes out in October very soon, so very timely. I think that's a really smart move because there are mixed feelings towards the Xbox brand, but people will want to play this game. It just has such broad appeal. I think this will have a huge line. I will be lining up potentially first for this over Metroid Prime. I'm not sure. I'll see which line's a little bit shorter and start there and
hard
jump in.
decisions.
I know. What do you do with your time? This is why we need 3 days. And hot to people, which we'll cover later, make sure you get to those booths early. But Ninja Gaiden 4 just looks so good. Johnny, are you going to be testing this one out at the Xbox booth?
Oh, for sure. I'll go check this out. I'm more acquainted with the 2D Ninja Gaiden games, but I'm hopeful to get my foot, just dip my toe in the water of the 3D style Ninja Gaiden games because they just look so impressive. So I'll definitely go try this out for sure.
Nice. And I think it's worth noting, like, beyond some of these really big kind of AAA games, so to speak, or first-party published games, or ones that are being showcased specifically by Xbox and Nintendo, there are some other big games that are going to be showcased that we'll probably check out too. Johnny, I know you're keen on Hades 2. That was a highlight of the recent Direct. We know Hades 2 is going to have a huge presence. It's getting 10 out of 10s everywhere. This is a game that gamers across the world just love and adore and are looking forward to. Are you going to be playing this one, Johnny, do you reckon?
I think so. I'm trying to figure out how to fit. I haven't played the first one. I really want to try and squeeze in the new Hades game and the first game into my kind of Spooktober Halloween kind of gaming roster because it kind of Greek mythology kind of fits into the kind of Halloween kind of theme. So I'm going to try and play a little bit of Hades too, alongside some other things in that sort of Spooktober mode. So and I really like what I've seen of Hades 2. I might even have to break some of my long-standing gaming OCD where I have to play the first game before I play the sequel. I might even break that a little bit so I can get stuck into Hades 2 a little bit earlier than otherwise would have happened. So that's going to be fun.
Nice. And look, one last one I want to mention in terms of the big AAA stuff. Elden Ring is also going to be playable in handheld mode at the Nintendo booth. It's got negative feedback so far, but I want to check it out just to see how the Switch 2 handles some of the games. I know some games like Star Wars Outlaws run really well. I'd be keen just to get a feel for that because I am eyeing that off personally on the Switch 2 rather than Xbox Series X because I do want to play that in handheld in bed late at night. I'm not sure, but I do want to see.
Yeah. It's good sometimes. It's good sometimes to find out for yourself. Like reviews are great, and reviews are an amazing thing. Great that we have them. We didn't have them back in the day, sadly, but sometimes you just need to find out for yourself. Like, and it's the best method. And if there's a way to try before you buy, then why not?
Absolutely. And look, what I will add is, like, in addition, of course, to some of these big publishers, the Expo Hall also has a whole range of indie developers showcasing their latest games too. So there's a couple of Aussie ones that I wanted to highlight specifically that I thought were of interest. What's really cool about the Aussie indie ones, just really the Aussie indie developers are really like welcoming, and there's a developer or two standing there. They're often 2-3 people teams. So it's exciting just to meet someone who's making a game and have a chat. They're often generous with their time. The first game I wanted to highlight is this one, which is Johnny, I don't know if you've heard of this. I sure as heck hadn't. But this is Doggy Don't Care. And I thought I'd pull this one because it just looks hilarious. And it reminds me a little bit of Untitled Goose
Yeah.
Game. So I think the theme around this is living the pug life, and essentially you're a pug, you're wreaking havoc, at your own leisure with objectives. Johnny, I know you haven't seen this, but from what you can see the footage, what could be wrong with a game where you're a pug dragging toilet paper and making a mess of the whole house? How do you feel about that?
I mean, this is I happen to have a very naughty dog, so this is almost like too close to reality. It's almost like a window on reality. It's not a pug, but I have a very mischievous doggy. She's too clever for her own good. Yeah, so this would be a lot of fun, and yeah, you're right. It gives off the Untitled Goose Game vibes a little bit. So yeah, that's a fun one to check out, I think.
Nice. And look, the other one I just wanted to highlight, which the developers reached out to us to promote. So, Joel, I hope you're watching today. It's from Hojo Studio. This one is called Bravecart, and it's a little bit of a commentary on the big two chains. They look suspiciously like the big two chains. It's a puzzle-based game, and essentially with this game, it's a puzzle-based game. It's an underdog story. An Aussie, a little abandoned shopping trolley. He's kind of defying these big brand supermarkets. I mean, no reflection on real society there. Looks great. Like there's an adventure element to it, and the developers are actually looking to use the profits for this game to promote sustainability and promote that message about competition and all those kind of things. So there's often something for everyone, and I can see people playing this kind of game just like handheld mode, having a bit of fun, and there'd be definitely an audience for this. But Johnny, what do you think about Bravecart? Pretty clever idea, eh?
I think that they're really they're onto something with it's tapping into that frustration with the supermarket duopoly.
The unnamed big two that are never on the news.
I think they're patching into something, and they're doing it in a very humorous way. So I reckon that's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, there's definitely a lot to see and experience on the show floor. Just go check out what you like. We'll certainly be doing that. Really exciting to see what the Aussie indie development scene is doing. Johnny, probably one of the other big things that people attend PAX for is the whole range of panels and fireside chats. So what's great about PAX is that there'll be developers from some of the big companies, and I've got a few that I want to bring up. But can you tell us a little bit more about what these are, like the panels and the fireside chats, and what it looks like going into these theatre rooms, and what kind of experience people can expect, Johnny?
Yeah, so I guess the panels are kind of like the big set pieces of the convention. So you'll have you might have just for example, you might have a development team for a particular game series or a particular new game that's coming out, and they'll be giving the kind of giving a bit of a preview of a game that's coming out, or if it's a game that's still a bit more early in development, it might be a bit more of a teaser about what to expect and that kind of thing. I remember last year I went to quite a lot of the panels, especially the first day or two at PAX. This year there's probably not as many panels that are sort of so directly dovetailing into my gaming interests. There's only a handful.
Civ 7 last year, Johnny.
Civ 7 last year was huge. Civ 7 is huge, and that was one of the big panels that I got very excited for, and their panel was really good. And then you've also got the fireside chats, which are a bit more informal. They're a bit more of a discussion Q&A style, not so much game footage reveals and that sort of thing. So it's a bit of a different style. Probably if in terms of this year's lineup, there's one panel in particular I'm very excited for, and that's the Zelda Universe panel on the Sunday. I think it's the Sunday afternoon. The topic for their panel this year is let's design or let's make the next Zelda game, which is a really great, I just think great timing because we're at a kind of, we're probably a little way away from the next mainline Zelda game, and so getting people in a room who all really love Zelda, and talking about what the next what should be the different elements of the next Zelda game. That's going to be a real laugh. Going to be a lot of fun, I think. It could be passionate views because us Zelda fans, we can be a little tribal. We're split into our overhead view and our first-person Zelda-style tribes, and that could be a bit of fun in itself. So I'm very excited for that one, particularly as last year I very unfortunately missed the Zelda Universe panel because I had to catch a flight home. This year, that's not an issue, so I'm not missing Zelda Universe's panel this time. There's nothing that can stop me from being there. So that's what I'm probably most excited for in terms of panels. What about you, John? Are there particular panels that you're excited about or going to try and make sure you make it to?
Yeah, definitely. I've got a few. And on that Zelda panel, I think I'll attend too because it is great timing with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom having been re-released with Switch 2 editions early in the Switch life cycle, which indicates that the next Zelda game is coming in a year or two, I would say. And it's very hard to know, is it going to follow that make and model, or is it going to be a 2D Link to the Past remake type thing? Who knows? Or an Ocarina of Time remake, which I'm sure there'll be a crowd at that group advocating for. I know people would love that, depending on which part of the Zelda universe you like. For me in particular, and I think for a lot of gamers who play PlayStation, who are into like samurai, ancient Japan, medieval Japan culture, the big one is the Ghost of Yotei one on Friday at 5:30. So Rob Davis, who's the campaign director at Sucker Punch, is delivering this. And honestly, it's just such a privilege to have someone of that caliber and level come and present. And of course, it's their interest to do because this game has just come out and it's being well received. It's going to be the biggest, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, PlayStation game this year. And it's been long anticipated. So Rob will be talking about the mission design, how the world was designed, and their approach to the game as a sequel. Now, I don't even have a PlayStation anymore. Like, I used to have a PS4 and I traded it in. But I have a few friends who are into PlayStation gaming. I know this is like a massive game. And just as a gamer, it's really exciting to hear about someone speak passionately about a project that's this huge with an enormous budget, highly anticipated. I reckon the room for this one will be filled. But Ghosts of Yotei, Johnny, do you reckon you might slip in for that one, or we might part ways while you cover Zelda? Who knows?
No, I think I'll check it out because I just think those games are so visually beautiful. I know there's a lot of love for those samurai simulators. So it's a bit of a spectacle, and I think it's worth checking out for sure.
Nice. The second one for me, so there are a lot, and people have different interests. So go check out the schedule on PAX because it's all up there. The second one that I wanted to highlight, so Obsidian is attending again. They had a presence last year. So Obsidian have made 3 games this year, or put out 3 games this year and upcoming, which is great. They're known for their really high output. They put out Avowed earlier this year, which I'm yet to try, but I'm really keen to try. And I missed their panel last year, so I'm just delighted they're coming back. Mike Dowling, who's the studio director, is speaking on Sunday at 10:30. He's going to be talking about Grounded 2. So Grounded was a highly successful online multiplayer game where it's a bit of a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of PvP, PvE type thing, I think. And then also Outer Worlds 2, which is highly anticipated. So I'll be attending that one for sure. It just looks so content rich. I hope they talk a bit about Avowed. I hope that game has done well for itself. I want to go back and see that. But that's just 2. And these panels, Johnny, they can take, they're about an hour. You don't have to stay forever if you don't want to, you stay as long as you like. But you kind of got to fit these in with everything else you want to do. So yeah, that one is absolutely on my radar to see. Now, beyond the panels, the fireside chats, there's a lot happening at PAX. Obviously, Johnny, I think we need to talk about the speedrun scene because I'm pretty sure you spent about 95% of your time watching speedruns last year. It's
I
like, where's he
did.
gone?
I did.
There he is, and it's
If
this
you
massive speedrunning crowd
last
watching
year,
Mario.
if you wanted to find me, like you had pretty good odds of finding me glued to the speedrunning stage. Like I just think it's such a spectacle. Like watching people with the skill to play play these games that I love, but play them in like record time. Like people, like last year I watched people speedrun Link to the Past in like 40 minutes, 45
That's
minutes. It
not.
was something like that.
It's not right. It's not right.
It's I just think they're so impressive. I think they got like, I don't know, magical powers from the Greek god Hermes or something like that. Yeah, and it's been applied to their gaming skills. So I love the speedrunning stage. There's not as many games that I, pro- I probably won't spend as much time there as I did last year, but there is a speed run on the Friday morning that I'm very excited for, and it's an NES game. John, you know I love the NES, and I love the NES Mega Man series. They're speed running Mega Man 2 on Friday morning, and I'm gonna go check that out for sure because I love the Mega Man series. It's not my favorite. I'm more of a Mega Man 3 fan. I'm on that side of the divide, which in terms of which is the best Mega Man NES game. I'm in the Mega Man 3 camp, but I promise not to heckle. I will be watching with great intent. They might they might teach me how to play this game again because I find Mega Man 2 incredibly difficult.
It's,
Um,
it's
yeah,
so stressful just to
yeah.
watch this, Johnny. How do you speedrun this? Like, it is very stressful.
This is going to be educational. I might drag you along to this speedrun, John, because
Oh, I don't think I
it's.
can cope. It's too
No, I
much.
just it's very cool. I'm a little bit down. I'm a bit disappointed. There's no Super Metroid speedrun this year on the schedule. It looks like maybe it gets added at the last minute. You never know. Because I missed it last year. It clashed with a panel that I think it clashed with this the Firaxis panel last year or something like that, and I didn't make it down to watch the Super Metroid speedrun, which was a bit sad. But yeah, no, they look. All I can say is they are very fast. To quote Wayne's World. So I just think they're cool. The speedrunners they have a lot of love and respect for the speedrunners.
Yeah, no, I'm not as into speedrunning as you are, but I remember last year I dropped by and watched like a bit of the Zelda one and a bit of the Mario ones that were going on. They're kind of fan favorites, I think. Sorry that the Metroid one isn't going to be there, but
Can't
the
have it
Mega
all.
Man 2, you can't have it all.
No.
Mega Man 2 just stresses me out, mate. Like when I look at that, it's like I'm not going anywhere near that. I actually hope they put caution barriers up and say caution. Not only is Mega Man 2 being played, but is the speed run. How and why would you speed run that? It's too much for me to cope with. People of Perth and Beyond, what I am keen to do though is that one thing they do at PAX, and they do these at various times, like in addition to the speed running, they do like local competitions. So they do like tournaments, and they do just like a handheld lounge when you can sit and chill with friends and play like Pokemon Pikmin 4 for example. The one I'm particularly keen on is on Friday at 3 p.m. There is a Mortal Kombat 2. It's curious that they picked 2 like of all the games, but there's a Mortal Kombat 2 tournament going on. And what's kind of funny is there's not much detail in the schedule, but it does say like the winners go play on the SEN, like the Super Nintendo SNES version, and the losers are relegated to the MS-DOS version.
Wow, that's rough.
It's rough because like people hate the SNES version because there's no blood. The MS-DOS version, I'm not convinced that's going to be looking good, or if there's like I'm not looking for those. Do you remember the old WSAD?
Yeah. Mortal Kombat 2 on the SNES, though, they add the blood back in?
Yeah, they did. No, you're right. They did.
Because they got the backlash about taking it out for the first one.
From the first one, correction. Yeah, you're right, Johnny.
So the
Super
Super Nintendo Mortal Kombat 2 is actually a good. It's a good version to play. So yeah.
True.
So,
no, you're right.
But the original was the sweat version. The original Mortal Kombat was the sweat version on Super Nintendo. Yeah.
True,
Yeah,
true. Well, my hands are geared towards the SNES. Like I'm
that's
ready to go.
awesome.
It's got triggers, and with the collection coming out, I think it's a great time
We'll be
to run a
me
little
and
event
the
like
people
that.
of me and the people of Perth and Beyond will be cheering you on, John, and hoping you don't end up in the MS DOS version.
Picking up the mouse and going, did they have mouse at the time? Like, was it invented? Do we play Mortal Kombat with the mouse? And then why am I pressing A, S, D, and W to move, and then the
Right.
comma button to fight? Oh my god! Don't attend. Maybe I'll just go to the Mega Man 2 speedrun instead. So heaps to get involved in, like hands-on
Yeah.
experiences beyond the gaming experiences. One other area of PAX that we have to highlight, and that we will both get into, we'll drop in. We'll find we've got half an hour free, and we will drop in and play it. Johnny, let's not kid ourselves. We love the retro stuff. And can you tell us a little bit more about the retro section that's set aside for gamers young and old?
So the retro console, retro gaming area, is just like this. I don't know what's the best way to describe it. It's just this nice little oasis in the middle of the
Mm.
expanse of the expo hall. Assuming it's in the same location as it was last year, and it's just wonderfully curated. They
Yeah.
kind of give you like I think our Perth Nostalgia Box colleagues would approve of the curation and the timeline setup of the retro gaming area in at PAX. It's just so well done. It's like this little. I'm not sure if they do it the same every year. It might be different this year. It might be a different kind of layout and curation. But last year it was in this kind of little spiral around a relatively small area, but you could just follow the timeline from like Pong through to Atari, through to NES, through to all the way through to your N64 and PS2 and whatever and the like, or original PlayStation, that kind of thing. There are pinball machines, so it's as more to life than video games, of course. So you've got some great pinball machines. Yeah, it's just beautiful. It's a nice little area to sort of, if you're just, and this is, I think if you're a little bit overwhelmed by everything that's going on at PAX and you're a bit of a retro gaming fan like we are, periodically drop into that retro gaming zone and yeah, you just kind of you sort of center yourself almost like just kind of like you chill out, play some classic games, and then you head out back in amongst it all again. It's great.
No, it's that's perfectly described. Like it is that oasis for gamers and gaming, and it doesn't tend to have a huge line. You might need to wait for one group in front of you to play some games, and people are pretty switched on and generous. They might play a couple of games, move on, and let you sit down and play. Highlights for me last year was access to the Sega Dreamcast. I'd never played one. I'd never experienced one, and I remember years ago as a child when it was on the shelves at like Kmart or Target, and it was just a small group of boxes, and I've always been curious about that, and it was so cool to finally pick up a Sega Dreamcast controller, which there's a lot going on. I feel like I've picked up a microwave, like it's got a screen on the front, or it's I don't know what's going on, and played Soul Calibur. That was really good. Just pick up and play, just to feel that and kind of live that era a little bit. But you'll see some of the other kind of bigger consoles, like you'll see Atari from back in the day, and then you'll see like the old Nintendo, Sega, and PlayStation consoles all set up. Tend to be with more of the well-known games like GoldenEye, Crash Bandicoot, Tomb Raider, Mario Kart 64, those kind of games. They tend to cycle the games, what I found over the 3 days. So it's just really cool to have that hands-on experience and then go, oh, okay, cool. Now I'm going to go play, like Metroid Prime 4, Mario Kart World. And it's a wonderful, I don't know how to describe it, but it's a wonderful, little oasis, like you said, Johnny, to sit back and chill and join. All right, so we're coming to the end of our episode, but there's still more about PAX we have to talk about. Johnny, there is let's wrap up with some of the other big kind of not side things, but things that also happen. I mean, last year there was dodgeball, like there's some sort of dodgeball game going on in Arena. Cosplay is absolutely huge at PAX. There is pin collecting, there are prizes, all that kind of thing. Tell us a bit more about some of these things.
Yeah, look, it's quite impressive, like the number of people who will come in cosplay, and not just that, but the high quality. You come across some really high quality cosplay at PAX. Like in my book, I think it's the best cosplay I've seen outside of Japan and outside of Tokyo Disneyland, which I mean, cosplay is really started in Japan, so hard to get to that level, but it's the next best thing, and people are really impressive in terms of the work they put into their costumes. Like they're amazing. But there's all the merch, there's the pins. The pin collecting is massive at PAX. PAX is very dangerous for your wallet. I'll warn you in advance. There's so much kind of cool stuff you can pick up if you're so inclined. Sometimes you've got to be a bit prepared to wait in some lines, because there can be some long lines if your timing is a bit off. But yeah, there's a lots of other things that are worth checking out.
I remember with the cosplay, like probably the most impressive one I saw was this guy dressed in a full Ghostbuster outfit which he'd created, and then
awesome.
he created the proton pack as well, and turned around. It had all the lights and gizmos and things flashing. It was absolutely incredible. And then another one I think was the Deadpool and Wolverine duo.
Yeah, that was
so
pretty
good.
Cool.
Like, and they're good. Like, their outfits like fit them really well, and they had all the like weaponry as well. That amazing, absolutely incredible. Like, you could spend your time at PAX just walking around, looking at people, and thinking, oh yeah, there's a couple of people doing this, and noticing you're the odd one out because you're not doing cosplay. It's definitely like a cosplay central place.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah. The other thing I really want to highlight is the pin collecting. So one way that PAX makes the whole experience kind of interactive is that a lot of these booths, and it can be the Samsung booth, it can be the Nintendo booth, it can be an indie booth. They often do giveaways if you get involved in their experience. So one that there's a few that I did last year, but I only did a couple. One was a challenge where it was a game starring like a Mickey Mouse like character, and I can't remember the name of the game on the top of my head, but it was like a shooting gallery.
Mouse PI?
It was private in Mouse PI for Hire. That's what it was. Mouse PI for Hire. It was a really outstanding looking indie game, first person shooter. And yeah, all in the vein of like, Disney, Mickey Mouse. And they had a shooting gallery and you could watch the game in the background. The game wasn't playable, which is a pity. And that was disappointing, but it was a good way to just raise awareness of the game. And then once you shot these kind of tin cans down like you would do, like at the Royal Show or Easter Show or whatever, you would get a pin. And then with your badge, which, you'll get a badge if you go to PAX, you can put your pins on. You can show off to everyone how like accomplished you are as a human being, all those kind of things. It's just a cool little way to connect with people and relate to people, and even just have a conversation starter with people as well about their PAX experience versus yours. So much to be excited about for PAX. We do need to wrap up though, and before we do, Johnny, I think we wanted to give people some of our top tips now that we are learned PAX people of Perth. What do you think in terms of like tips? Where do you want to start?
Well, I'm going to start with my number one tip, and I learnt this lesson the hard way. If you can, especially if you're doing the 3 days at PAX, whatever you do, don't go to work on the Monday after, because you will never
or the
be
Thursday before.
That's not as bad. Like but if you have to, I really feel for you if you have to rock up at work on the Monday after, because there's no lower low than the high you'll be coming off, and you'll just be maybe you have a fun job, and I'm projecting, but yeah, you'll never be so sad than you will be as the Monday after PAX if you have to rock up to your job. So if you can have a bit of breathing space between PAX and going to work, your work, you'll be happy for it. And I'm practicing what I preach, and that's definitely what I'm doing this year. But in
Mm,
terms of other tips, I think with your merch and stuff like that, I would, especially if you're going for a number of days, I find the Friday the lines aren't quite as long. I remember the lines not being quite as long as they were, say, on the
mm.
Saturday and Friday. If you're trying to nab cool merch, try and do it on that Friday if you can. What about you, John? What's your
Yeah.
big tip?
Oh, look, I just want to reiterate what you said about the Monday off. I mean, I've done it, especially if you're flying in. I
Mm,
think you definitely need like a debrief with PAX.
yeah.
And the other thing is, like, a lot of the events, like think panels, a lot of that stuff goes into the night. Like, I'm not just talking 6 o'clock. Like, there's
Mm,
stuff late into the night up until
yeah.
10 o'clock. And sometimes you just want to hang out at the end of the day with your friends or people you've met and be
Mm,
like, hey, let's meet, let's go have dinner, let's chat about
mm,
this, let's game plan about the next day. So
yeah.
yeah, I definitely think tack that extra day on just to like debrief, come down from PAX, all those kind of things. Um, I would add definitely get the PAX app, and I don't mean that in like a marketing way. I just mean that as in like a convenient way
Yeah.
because if you want to know what's coming up, then the schedule's right there in your hands. You go, all right, it's 2 o'clock. I'm
Mm,
pretty exhausted. I don't want to walk around. I've played a lot of games. I'm keen on a panel, and then you might see there's a panel coming up at 2:30. Or there might be like something in the handheld gaming lounge where you can sit and watch people that suits you. So definitely have the PAX app. And then I would also say bring a bag, like bring a backpack. You're going to buy merchandise or collect pins. You're going to want a bottle of water. There is like food on site and water on site, and I know a lot of people left to just go outside the Melbourne Convention Centre to eat. But having a backpack is just handy, especially if you
mm,
win some of them big prizes.
yeah.
So
The
that
the app this year is pretty slick. I think it's a big upgrade on last year's app. Look, the presentation and the navigation on it is a lot smoother. So it's
cool.
yeah, definitely worth downloading the phone app for PAX AUS 25. Yeah.
Nice. Well, that's all we've got for today's shows. We've covered as much as we can without
Yeah.
spoiling too much. There's always things to discover that you don't expect. There might be local celebrities you don't meet, all that kind of thing. You've never expected to be there, for example. I do know the narrator for Baldur's Gate 3. She'll be there, Amelia Taylor. So she's actually got something on the Saturday at 1 o'clock. So look, there really is something for everyone at PAX. Yeah, cannot wait to go, Johnny. Not far to go. But any final words or tips before we wrap up, Johnny, about PAX and your excitement?
Well, no, it's not long to go now. It is grand final day. So if you're watching the footy and you're upset about the result, don't worry. Turn off the footy, watch our episode, and get excited for PAX and forget about it all.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for joining us, to everyone, the people of Perth and Beyond. We really appreciate it, and have a great weekend. That's all from us. See you later.